Hello folks, today I will talk about how you can integrate the APIs in your project, and that means how you can communicate with the APIs using the HTTP Angular. So let me show you with the examples how it is working. So here I will talk about various ways by which you can easily fetch data from APIs. You can fetch asynchronous data using various methods. So what are APIs? APIs are the data that we are using. It is asynchronous in nature. So we basically to save the data, to get the data, to fetch the data, we use the APIs. So it is a big thing. So in Angular, with HTTP verb, you can perform CRUD operations. As we know, HTTP request contain JSON data that we transfer from one place to another. In Angular, you can fetch, send, or post data easily. So firstly, you need to understand the prerequisite is firstly you need to know what is API. So API is basically how you can sending or receiving the data. So suppose if there is any form in any website, so if you submit that form, then it will create a JSON of that data and it will send it to the by the API to the server. So this is the API, basic idea of the API. So means this work on the HTTP. So with HTTP verbs, you can perform CRUD operations. The CRUD operations are the create, read, and update and delete. So these are the basic operations that we can perform in any API. So as we know, API request contains JSON data. As I already told you that we can transfer from one place to another. In Angular, you can fetch, send, or patch data easily. In Angular, we use HTTP client module to integrate REST APIs. So first you need to import this into your main module. So whichever module you want to integrate the API, so first you need to import this module there. So let me show you how it is working. So this package is basically used to integrate the API static client module. So this you need to import in your module, whatever the module you want to use and which you want to integrate the API. Suppose you have JSON data file in the assets folder, you can fetch data from folder by using the HTTP client package of HTTP client module. So let me show you with the example. So the project is running now. So these are the CRUD operations that I'm talking about. You can read, create, and update, delete all the operations. Create means posting the data, and read means fetching the data. Then we have update, then we have delete. So there are multiple things that you need to understand to working on the API, but here I will give you the basic idea. So it is running now. So first is the create operation. So what we are doing in this create operation. So as you can see here in this function. So here I am using the JSON placeholder. It is an environment from where you can use their APIs. So 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 this is the JSON placeholder. It is an environment which provide Mox API. So it is a free API, fake API for testing and prototyping. So it is just a simple. So with that you can easily learn how this API is working. So I have used this. So here what we are doing here. So to integrate the API, firstly you need to create a method. Here you are using the Angular feature. So here it is a means to post any data. What you need to do? Firstly you need to import the HTTP client module. So in the app module, you have integrated the HTTP client module. So after that, you can import the HTTP client in your component in your service, whatever it is. So here I have used this API service. So here I have declared the functions. With that, you can easily run the APIs. So here I have used the HTTP client module, HTTP client. So now if you want to post the data, so let's go again. If you want to post the data, then you need to call the post method of this HTTP client. So this is HTTP client. So it is the post method, and what post method require. So as you can see in the post method, it requires the URL, the API URL, and then we have the body. Body means data, whatever the data you want to pass, you want to save in your server. Next is the options that we have. So there are different options like headers and observe params, report progress. So there are multiple parameters that we have. So according to your requirement, you can pass this data. So what it do, it constructs a post request that interprets by the body as a JSON object and returns the response body as a JSON object. So here you are passing param and URL, body, options. So these are, and it what it returns, it returns an observable of the response with the response body as a JSON object. So it is returning a it is returning a observable of the response with the response body as a JSON object. Okay. So what we are doing here, we are passing the past portion data, then with the pipe and map operators, we are returning the response whatever that is returning. So as you can see here, what we are doing, as it is returning an observable, so here we are subscribing this data whatever it is returning, means after running this, and here we are handling if there is any error while executing the command. So let me create, let me hit on the create button. So here if I run the create command, so as you can see here, it is returning the data. So as you can see here, this is the API that we have just called, and we are passing this data here, this JSON data, and this is the header. So we are using this API request URL, and this is the method post method that we created. Instead of 20 means the data is created, and so it has we have passed this data, and we are getting this response from this API. So as you can see here, we have logged the data. So we are subscribing this data, whatever what it is returning. So as you can see here, it is returning this thing. So it has returned whatever data we have created. So with that, we can easily. So this is the get API. Next, let's move to the another API, which is the read. So what we are doing in the read, let me show you. So here we are fetching the data. So here we just like the post request, I have created a get request method. So in the get request, we just using the get method of the HTTP client, and it is similar like that. And here we are just in the get method, as you can see here, here passing the URL, and these are the options. With that, these are the options that you can pass here, and so it also return an observable. So that is why we are using the get request here, and we are getting the response here. So let me show you the read. So as you can see here, it is reading the data. So the next second one is this get API. So as you can see, it is a get API. It is returning the statement means this API is working, and it is returning the data. So as you can see, it is returning this data from that server. So next is update. So what is happening in this update? Update is basically in this we are updating the previous data. So here we are using the put request. So this put request is basically similar like the post. So here we are using the put method. So means whatever the things you want to use, so you can use that from the HTTP client. And the next one is the delete. So in the delete we are using the delete operation from the HTTP client. It is also similar like that. So this is the API here. So this is a delete API, and here if you are clicking on the delete, it will delete the data. So let me show you all this in the UI. And in the doc I also mentioned the get request and post and delete and put. So these are the four basic CRUD operations that we use generally. So in the create we just saw that it has created the data. In the read it is fetching the data. In the update it is updating the data, and then the delete is deleting the data. So it is so according to our requirement we can write that. So as you can see, so it is getting 201, and another three are showing the 200. So it is a means success. Thanks guys for watching.